Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, cause it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Bert and Denny's are off on their little excursion they go on every single day. I'm not really sure. Do you know where they go?
Yes,
what
I
do.
Because
What's their strategy?
I've seen them. What they do is they go into the men's restroom.
Okay.
And they group poop. They hold hands under the stall and they go number 2.
Really? That's what they're doing, huh?
You heard it here first.
Huh.
Group poop. It's the newest thing.
Group poop. I didn't know that's what they're doing. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to ask you to join them.
No,
but, I mean,
I'm good. You know me. I don't poo at work. So.
Have some self-respect.
Yeah. No, if I'm here, we're running a little bit late. It's because Kev's run home. You know, I got an emergency, unexpected sensation, and I got to go get it. Somebody was texting in on the live stream that said, "Why was there no podcast yesterday?" Well, there's a lot of questions that are going on about this. In fact, I'm just kind of like looking, if you do listen to our podcast format, for a while we've had it where you'll get the regular show and at the end we got the After the Show podcast. And, you know, we've been doing that system for, you know, quite a good bit. And, you know, we put it all kind of on one thing. So, because I was noticing that if you're scrolling down, you know, before you'd have a lot of things you'd have to scroll through.
Right.
So, you know, we'd be able to do it that way. But yesterday we were talking, somebody's like going, oh, great, Kevin goes to some freaking podcast movement. He comes back and changes everything up.
It's not entirely wrong.
No, it's not. And I mean, you know, I even told you that, you know, when I went to the podcast movement, a big part of, you know, what we're doing in the future of the show is that it would be great to see us be able to just kind of like do this show a little bit more loose formed and podcast and, you know, get it right so it's really great for the consumer. That's what I always preach to everybody around here. I'm like, it's whatever, you know, what's best for the audience. I feel like doing a podcast is where we need to be. And maybe we don't have to do, you know, all the extended show that we do, you know, because we got to sit here through music and commercials and all that kind of crap. It'd be, you know, a lot more awesome just to be, you know, we'd have more time to be able to work on putting more into the show that we did.
Sure.
We didn't have to sit, you know, through that. I mean, we lose 2 to 3 hours every single day just kind of sitting, waiting for all that kind of stuff to happen. Whereas people who do a regular podcast, they don't have to go through that stuff because they're not on a broadcast radio show. So what we did is, you know, we get now company numbers from all the podcasts that are in the company. You know, we're competing against people in Seattle. And I don't know if you say competing, but, you know, there are shows that are in Seattle and St. Louis and Washington, D.C.
Well, you're competing because the company sends you a list.
Yeah.
And it's a ranking. It lets you know who's the top, who's second, who's third, fourth, fifth. It goes all the way down the line. So it is a competition.
Yeah. Make no mistake about this. This is a competition.
Well, because our bosses will look at it that way. They will sit there and say, okay, where is my show rank? And, you know, we're ranked up there. We're doing very well. But, you know, I saw there were some other shows that were ahead of us. And I'm like going, okay, well, what's going on? And one of the little secrets that I'd heard was there's this one show that does a lot better in their podcast downloads than us. And like going, well, you know, they actually divide it up into each hour of their show. And somebody said their audience likes that better because if you're trying to scroll through something, when you have a smaller file, it's easier to go back and listen. Like if you have a long 2.5 hour file or 2 hours, which is normally what our podcast is, if you want to go back and hear 2 or 3 minutes ago, sometimes you try to take your finger a little bit to the left, and now you've gone 15 minutes back.
Yeah, you think it's 1 minute, it's 18.
And then you try to go, well, let me go a little bit more forward, and then you've gone 25 minutes forward, and then you're like, screw it.
My finger's too fat.
Yeah, so I thought that might be, you know, better as far as being user-friendly on that. And then I was kind of hoping that, you know, if you started, you could maybe pick an hour and say, I'd like to listen. I heard the 6 o'clock hour. I'd like to go right to the 7 o'clock. And then that would be convenient to listen to it that way. I can skip, you know, right ahead to what I want.
It's going to be different for everybody and how they live. Some people are going to love it, and some people are going to hate it. Unfortunately, it's a change right off the bat, so you're going to hear the people who hate it.
Oh, yeah.
And it sucks to change it up on you guys, but just trust us when we say it really is going to help us.
Well, we noticed, there was a big spike in numbers yesterday with how we did it. And so that plays better into, the company being able to look at that. And, for us, selfishly, there's like, okay, wow, if we could get some of those bigger numbers quicker, then maybe we can get more sales, and then maybe we can move to a podcast format than we could away from broadcast radio, possibly. So, there's a lot of things that are going into thinking, and that's what we do here on the After the Show podcast. We want you guys to be involved with it. So, ultimately, though, we want to create what is the best user experience. That, to me, I think, has always got to be the underlying goal of what we're doing.
I just found that experiment interesting to see that when we did it that way, our numbers really did jump a great deal to the point where, like, holy shit.
Well, it kind of
was.
That's what it came back and it said.
Yeah.
It was holy shit, a movement of the needle.
Well, it kind of showed us, and so that's, where our internal debate is right now. When you look at that, all of a sudden we go, we're going to go through the roof and be like, okay, wow, we're up in the upper echelon in the company and competing now with these shows. We're like, well, why do they have like so many more downloads than we do? It's like, well, because they've got a different system. The thing I hate is, with numbers, there's so many ways as I dig more into it that people are doing to, in a sense, really fudge numbers.
For sure. In a sense, that is fudging numbers in a way.
But if everybody's fudging but you have to fudge.
Yeah, I don't know.
If this is the way that they're rating us, top, second, third, fourth, fifth, how else are we going to get rated?
The reason why the podcast, because Virginia had a good point earlier in commercial break. If the podcast rankings and all that stuff wasn't a big deal with the company, there wouldn't be this ranking, and they wouldn't be looking at it all the time and showing it to it. They want to make a podcast move, you can tell.
And they know what Kevin is saying, that there is going to be a day and time when podcasting is going to be just as important, if not more important, than the broadcast stream. I just think it's going to happen. And I think our company thinks it's going to happen. And so we kind of have to play the game.
So I don't think Metal Beer Dan likes it. He's in the chat room. He's getting a little lippy. So you added more to scroll through? LOL?
No, it's the same content, sir. Mm-hmm. It's going to be easier for you to scroll through it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I know you Metal Beer Dan like to fight with each other.
EJ said, I'm hearing Miami all over again. Don't get too ambitious, guys. Didn't you learn?
Well, no, this is our idea.
Yeah.
This is not somebody telling us what to do. This is us looking and trying to be smarter.
Know your place and don't try to grow.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. And this is trying to give you more of the content you want, not less. Miami, unfortunately, because we got bombarded with the music, that was putting our content into someone else's hands. This is about us trying to make sure that we don't have Miami happen all over again. And the other thing, too, is the way that media is going, if we don't do anything, and if we just sit here and keep doing what we're going to do, KVJ will go away in the next 5 years. We won't be around if we don't continue to try to grow and adapt and change with what's going on.
That's what I hope the people understand is we have to change a bit if we want to actually have a job and continue to do this thing.
Because if the company looks at the rankings and we're at the bottom and we can switch it up just a little bit and be closer to the top, that means that we get to keep doing this. That means that they get to give us more budget to do cooler stuff on the radio.
I think we even agreed we're going to do it as a little experiment. And if it's so horrible and everyone wants to burn down the station, nothing's concrete.
Yeah, probably all when we sat down yesterday and talked about it, we said, we tried it yesterday and that was interesting to see what we got. And, we'll probably give us this week just to kind of tinker with it. And if it's, overwhelming, and let us know what you think, honestly. Because we want, like I said, number one is creating the best user experience. And I was kind of hoping that, okay, when you listen to the 6, and there are other podcasts I've listened to, like if I go listening through, it'll kick from the 6 right to the 7, and then there's really no gap. It still keeps playing the entire show.
There's a way to do that. Denny's explaining it. I don't think everyone knows how to do that, but there is a way you can connect it all to where it's pretty much seamless.
So ideally, if we can make it easier to, scrub through the show to get to what you want quicker, finding that, oh, wow, I realized that, the meat of the KVJ content starts in the 7, I can go, to the 7 if I have limited time, and that's where I can go to get all my stuff, then that's good. So we want to just create the best experience possible. But yeah, that would mean 5 different files every day with all 4 hours and then the after the show.
So this is what Mark said. This is a legit complaint. He doesn't want to think he's hating. I don't think he is hating. He said, so the only problem is I want to listen to a show from 3 days ago. You have to scroll through like 15 different videos or files, not hating, just pointing out.
That's why we initially condensed even and put the after the show on the back end of the regular show podcast, because I thought that might be more convenient for people to just have one file and then listen. And the numbers, back, they said, wow, it's amazing because, people listen on average to 77% of your podcast. Before
they said that about our podcast.
About our podcast, and that's crazy high because, a lot of people listen to 5 or 10 minutes of a podcast, and that's all they'll do. But, majority of our audiences listen to 77% of it, which, kind of tells you that you're probably the last 25%. You could probably condense it by 25 to hit that sweet spot of what people are actually listening to, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create the best product possible. And to me, that is the ultimate goal. But yeah, I mean, we got people, the responses that we got, and you guys can keep giving us your responses and help us figure out what is the best thing. And if the best thing is the way that we were doing it, then we will, but we're going to let the company know. Be like, okay, hey, you guys have these numbers, but just we want to go on record that we could play the same way they are and do the same system, and our numbers should be there. So maybe you guys can have a better, ranking system than how you're doing it to really totally get how much people are really listening.
Well, that's it. I just feel better knowing now that some of these other shows that have these big numbers, we would have them maybe even better if we played by those rules. And that's all I needed to hear. That's really all I cared about hearing.
That's what I was curious about too. And like I said, it all boils down to me. Whatever is the best for the consumer experience is I think what we always need to do here with the show, regardless of, faulty digital systems and whatever numbers they come up with. Kelly in Tampa said, Denny's or Kevin, WTF is up with the new format. Let me see. He said, now it's broken by hour. So is this something that is a podcast convention? It's awful. Now I have 6 new podcasts for one day. Love you, love the show, love the content, but come on. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
You're really feeling the fire from that podcast convention you went to.
Oh, I know. My gosh. How dare I go and try to learn new things? It's
dick.
Tough. It's tough.
You got to try to get better, though, right? I mean, you got.
Oh, we have to. No, absolutely. Like I said,
that's all we're trying to do.
But I completely understand the audience perspective. They're going to go, yeah, that's great, all Virginia, get better, but we don't think this is better, and that's what I think some people are telling us. Mm-hmm. It may be better on our end, but it may not be good for them. Well, I don't know.
And us, and this is just going to be it. I mean, unfortunately, media and people are changing. Both the delivery systems and people's attention spans are shifting and changing, and so. Yeah, we're going to have to try to figure out what is the sweet spot. But, we have a great audience that gives us very blunt responses back.
Absolutely.
And we listen to all of them. We read all the responses and say, okay, ultimately, we're trying to create the best product for you. And so, bear with us as we try to figure out what that system is because nobody knows. I mean, trust me, I listen and talk to all the people that are on the edge, like leading the path into all this stuff, and nobody knows.
It's still the wild, wild west.
Nobody knows.
Everybody is learning as they go. We're creating it. Think about it. All the people that are podcasting now and doing this, like we're the firsts.
Oh yeah, no, we have been. It's really when people are talking about like the new thing is people would be like, radio shows should start doing a after the show podcast where they do new content right afterwards that people can listen to, and we're like, yeah, they've been on that for over 5 years,
half a decade now.
Yeah, so I mean that's the good news is that we're doing stuff that people are just now trying to get to and thinking of for the most part.
All of a sudden you're seeing a few of the positive comments trickling in the chat room.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's just what we got to figure out because, some people will be rocked by it, and the people that have a bad experience are the first people to respond the most vocally. But I just want to let all of you know, Michael in Atlanta, John from Brick, New Jersey, thank you guys all, for sending in your comments. So, and it's people, around the country. And that's really, I think, where we think KVJ might be going is to more of a national audience and getting to that level. And then that way we would be able to hopefully do a KVJ podcast and have that be that.
And all that means is just us talking to a larger audience. We're not changing.
Nope. That wouldn't be changing
But
anything.
if you want the company to support those kind of efforts, a lot of times you have to show them that you can pull big numbers. And this is one of those things that we're looking at going, oh, we can have bigger numbers if we put it up this way. It's the same content.
I don't hate Kevin's idea of sitting down with management and going, look, we tried it the one way as an experiment and look at how our numbers jump, but our audience doesn't like it. But just so you know,
Right.
these X amount of numbers could be way bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So people that have these big numbers because they break it up, it's not real.
we'll know in a week, like you're saying.
Well, anyway, just let us know. So we'll continue to try to do what's right. Thank you for the feedback. Mail at kvjshow.com. Tiffany sent an email, said, so I've written a couple times. I listen to the ATS Podcast daily. My dad is a social media person and has a couple little shows and stuff. And to be honest with you, he thinks he's bigger than he is. So my question for you guys is, he's posted that Jaybird and Virginia are attending one of his events on Saturday. And I want to know if this was true. I included a screenshot showing the post. Thanks, guys. Love you all. And, it says a premier party pass. And the countdown is on for Saturday night. The biggest party on the East Coast will be taking place in Davie, Florida.
Davie?
Additional coverage and press will include the Florida Sun Sentinels, What's Happening in South Florida reporters, radio personalities Virginia and Jaybird from KVJ Radio 97.9.
KVJ Radio?
Yes.
You can tell this shit's written wrong.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, no,
Interesting
I'm
stuff.
definitely not going to be there.
Okay.
I didn't even know about it.
This is the first I've ever heard about it.
Okay.
That's so funny. So she knows that her dad will sometimes flower things up to make them sound more appealing.
I don't know. Maybe there's just a discrepancy in the bookings. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, there is. We didn't agree to it.
Okay.
I got something I'm doing that night.
Or maybe you should go.
See what happens.
Just see what happens.
Did you live in Davie?
I did.
Okay.
I've had enough Davie. I've lived in Davie 2 separate times in my life. Never again.
Lori is talking about stores and what they should do. More stores should just go to the concept kind of like Bell's and Kohl's, but they don't put their stores in a mall. Said, I haven't shopped in a mall in years. Don't like the concept. We're talking about Mall of Wellington Green. Their value has dropped off considerably. $70 million of value has dropped in the last couple of years.
When I think about going to the mall, for me, as busy as we all are, I don't have time. Magnolia loves it. Her and her friends love it. They love to go wander and go to the food court. And I just don't have time for that kind of a luxurious day. Mm-hmm. I think the mall is not perfect for our fast-paced lives. It's just not. You got to park at one end and walk like far to get to one thing and then far to get back. And
In high school, you'd go there to pick up chicks. Now, if you go there as an adult, it's just creepy. What are you doing at the mall, Jaybird? I'm here to pick up chicks.
picking up high school
It
chicks.
just sounds creepy.
Do adults ever, over the age of 25, ever really meet and hook up at the mall frequently?
It could
Does that ever
happen.
It could happen,
Yeah.
but how often? I mean, when you were in high school, yeah, that was it. We would comb the malls, and that's where you'd meet all the ladies, and all the good stuff would happen there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you, as an adult, you can, especially if you're shopping at a store that you have a relationship with somebody, if kind of friendly in the beginning, I can see how that could work.
My daughter still, I mean, she's 21. Going to the mall still seems to be a big thing for her and her friends. I think, they like browsing and shopping.
Well, I mean, she's got Kevin Ralston's credit card, too. I'd love to go to the mall
No,
with
she
that.
does not have Kevin Ralston's credit card. Trust me, that ain't happening.
Don't let that happen.
No, I'm not letting that happen. No, girl's on her own. She got a job in the mall. She got to stay on that. Yeah, so, I mean, I kind of understand why that would be something that people might want to check out, still kind of like perusing the mall. I like it because I never know what I want to get. I don't know what sites to go to. I don't know anything about shopping.
I don't either, man. I try. I order clothes online. Sometimes it turns into a titty shirt. And sometimes it's too long.
Yeah, I don't know what to get like when I'm doing that. So now I've really kind of fallen this thing. All I do is I buy when I go into. So I don't know where else to shop. The only place that got clothes now, I go into a brewery or I go into like get ceviche, and that's where I do my clothes shopping now because I don't know where else to shop because they're closing all the damn malls, and I don't know really how to shop online.
I don't hate that. You love beer. So
yeah.
if you just have a bunch of beer shirts, I mean, that's kind of you.
But I just don't even know where to shop.
I would argue that beer shirts are way better for you than mall shirts.
Yeah, those kind of shirts, that's like that baseball tee style. Those look good on you. And are you working out again? You looks like you're getting kind of swole up in your titty area again.
No, I'm just getting man titties.
No, you do not have man tits. I have man tits.
I got to jump on it. I'm not. Yeah, see, but I see like other dudes that like, where'd they buy that? I have no idea. See, that's all I want. I don't want to like go online, try to find it, try to sniff it out. That's why I'm really surprised that malls aren't working these days.
Style is time consuming.
It is.
You ain't lying. Look at me.
And don't try to be something you're not. You know, if you don't know how to do all that stuff, but you do know how to go to the brewery and buy a cool brewery t-shirt.
I do.
Stay in your lane. Why are you trying to be something you're not?
Yeah, I hear you. That's what I'm trying to do.
Beer shirts look great on you. I would totally stick with that. Jay Bird's got a taco shirt. Says, I'm into fitness. Fitness taco in my mouth.
It works for me. I'm staying in my lane.
You are staying in your lane.
I'm on brand.
It's all about the branding today.
It is. It's about branding.
Rachel talking about no laws. She said, for no reason other than basic white chicks, full disclosure, I am one, I previously had zero interest in alcoholic sparkling waters. They reminded me of sneaking Zimas into my parents' basement in high school. But this weekend, I had my first encounter with the Claw when our friend bought a round of 24-ounce cans at a concert. Holy hell. There needs to be another name for a blacker blackout.
Black cherry blackout.
I woke up the next day to our friend's 7-year-old saying, no laws with the claws.
I hear that in my fucking nightmares now.
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
in Virginia's voice.
And not remembering if we paid the babysitter or how we got home. # White Claw parenting. I moved to Dallas a few years ago, but I still listen to the show via podcast. Hate that it's a day behind, but I love you guys. I laughed so hard at the Southpaw Challenge episode. Beers on me if you're ever in Dallas. I'm off the Claw for now.
That night when I was going to bed, I'd fall asleep and all I would hear is, ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, in Virginia's voice.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
such a restless night of sleep.
That's tough. Gosh, that's tough. Yeah, it's really taking over, but man, kick you in the dick.
It will.
No doubt about
I
that.
still haven't ridden the Claw. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be good for me.
See, hurricanes don't scare me, but Virginia drinking White Claw does. That's when I leave fucking town. I board up my house.
Right.
I poured up my house.
Just in case you come near me.
That's a fantastic idea.
I'm so proud.
Kind of a compliment.
It is.
Ashley has got a toilet paper debate going on in her house. She said, my husband and I are having a debate about how much toilet paper is needed for our toddler to wipe. I taught him that he only needs about 5 to 6 squares, bundle, wipe, flush. But my husband, on the other hand, recently told him that he needs to wrap the toilet paper around his hand 4 to 5 times, wipe 1 time, and then do it again. When I asked my husband why so much toilet paper, he told me that it's so he knows he's not going to get any poop on his hands when he wipes. Since then, I've gone through 3 rolls in a matter of 2 weeks, and he has clogged the toilet at least 4 times.
Oh.
Am I being too stingy, or is my husband being a little obsessive?
If you have clogging issues happening, your husband is in the wrong, and you got to teach the boy to use less paper.
I think they're both wrong on this one.
Okay.
I think you can go too much with the toilet paper, but you can also go too little. It's all going to depend on what kind of poop you have. Not every time's going to be the same. Sometimes you need more.
Okay, how do you guys do the TP? Because me, it's 4 squares and it's a double fold.
Oh, you are so OCD. 4 squares.
4 squares, double fold, yeah.
He measures it out.
No, I do. I know.
That's so funny.
I know, 4 squares, double fold, man. And I would tell anybody that is the way to go. That is the perfect amount of TP that you need.
And do you just wipe once and then you're done?
No, I mean, it really depends.
Yeah,
You know? I think everybody has got that challenge. I mean, the goal... The perfect poop is you sit down, it goes, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm clean, I'm ready to go, and then
doesn't
you back
exist.
out.
One wipe does not exist. You got to just to make sure.
I've had one wiper.
But your butthole's not clean. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you it was.
No, I bet my savings on your butthole wasn't clean.
I go back. So I do the first wipe, I do the second wipe, and then even if I think I don't need it, I always do a third wipe, and if there's anything on it, I do a 4th wipe.
Oh, that's different then.
I'm doing safety checks.
But okay, you made it sound like you only do 1 wipe and you're done.
There's been a situation where I did 1 wipe, I really didn't even need that much of a wipe. And then the second wipe, the paper was completely spotless.
Oh, you know those DeQuesta poopers, Kevin.
You know, I love getting a nice little like Tequesta type poo. And I don't know if you guys ever go back, but sometimes I will like think, okay, what did I eat? Because I want this experience again.
Right, a perfect poo.
Yes. I'm like, there's nothing better. Like, you know you're going to have a good day when you have a perfect poo. A perfect poo wraps into the perfect day. Like, it's kind of like, I always remember that Ice Cube song, Today Was a Good Day. And he sings about all those things, what makes a perfect day. And that's one element to a perfect day, a perfect poo where you sit down, you're one and done, and you're back at it, you're going, okay, everything is going my way today.
I think you are in the minority with the four squares and then you double fold it. It's too organized.
So what's yours?
I go on feel, dog. Every time's different. Go on feel, gut feeling.
How do you know until you get and see? I mean, it's really an experience. You don't know until that first wipe what you've encountered.
How do you know? You know, when to stop eating. You just know.
So you have
I go on feel.
So you have a tingly sensor in your bunghole that will tell you if you've got clean or sloppy.
Absolutely. Though I'll tell you who's got the dirtiest butthole. It's Tequesta.
Virginia.
Never. You could eat off of it. Double dog dare you. You want to step it up in 2019?
I would love to.
So people were saying, yeah, only 4 squares. Ooh. Honestly, it's efficient. It covers all I need. I don't have pokage, rippage, whatever. It's all good. I mean, now if I have really bad, toilet paper I'm dealing with, I might go to the 6 squares because you need a little bit more, material. Because you realize it's not good. But that's a foreign away poo. And like I said, I try to avoid those at all costs.
I gotta tell you, I absolutely disagree with your techniques. I'm not sure I like DeQuesta's philosophy either.
Well, we don't want your approval. We don't need your approval.
I'm really kind of curious now. Just let me know what it is you do, because I am a 4 square fold guy, and yes, I am a wet wipe dude at the end, and that's why.
Where does the wet wipe go?
You got to throw it in the garbage. You can't throw it down the thing because it's bad.
You've got a wet wipe sitting in the garbage with poo on it. Oh,
well, I'll wrap it up. Yeah. It's tough, but it's not. But I wipe well to the point there's nothing really on it. I mean, it's just taking out any remnants.
Harold's got a pretty funny comment. Mo and Sally never talk about this stuff,
and that's why their audience has dirty assholes.
This is a public service.
This is.
We got to talk about these things. It's the human condition. Why are we so ashamed to talk about something that we all do every day?
I think it's valuable stuff. I mean, honestly, I remember one time, Howard Stern had talked about how he does it, and he's like, he kind of holds up. He doesn't ever rush anything. He doesn't force it. He feels like it's a natural thing, and your body tells you, hey, when it's time to go, that's when you go. You don't sit there and be like, maybe I will. And that really kind of changed my life. And I go with that now.
You really have to listen to your body.
So, and I think there's a way to do it and a way not to. And his, advanced age and tutelage really kind of helped me out as a young man learning the poo game.
And that thing that Denny's uses, that squatty potty, if anybody struggles, the squatty potty is a really awesome tool. Luckily, I don't struggle.
I try to mimic the positioning of the squatty potty often.
You can.
I get kind of like I'm in a plane and I'm about to crash.
Can you
I get in crash position.
Do a little video, do a little tutorial?
A tutorial?
Yeah. Of how you do that, yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. I mean,
sometimes you can do a little.
If you need the visual.
A poo lean, like you lean different, and it helps.
Yeah, it really does. It's biological. It's how it works itself out, and it's something we all do, and it's something. I mean, if you could be more efficient and that experience could go better, why would you not want to? Why would you not want to do that? So yeah, I just think it's valuable information. Let me see some of the other people. I wrap up the toilet 4 to 6 times around my hand. I do this twice. I clean twice and maybe even a third time.
People are reminding me that's right. Kevin does have that BHP, that butthole privilege. He's got the way he poops. You don't have the regular butthole that other people. You have a different type.
I've really trained. I think, like I said, I mean, my butthole. We have a kind of an agreement. I mean, we work well in tandem, and I understand it. It understands me.
They have a pact.
You're,
Yeah,
like,
we kinda do.
you're like Hall & Oates, baby.
We are.
What a duo.
We are. We kind of have it together. Yeah, people really can't believe I'm only using 4 squares and they don't think that's fan. I'm like,
Brother, I've been for 15 years. I'm reeling.
Anybody wants to come into the toilet, watch me do it. You'll be like, wow, he really. That's fine. I'm waste not, want not. It's efficient. It's well done.
Make a video?
Yeah, four squares. The last thing I'll say is 4 squares is way too small. That's too little, and you have butthole privilege. It's shining through.
You're right. I'm kind of, in a sense, I'm bragging.
You are.
Yeah, it's not gross. I'm just bragging. I'm flaunting what I have. Engineer Keith's got a suggestion for Virginia, a superhero show I think that you might actually like. I got turned on to The Boys on Amazon Prime Video. It's a little intense for some of the violence, but I think it's what the world would be like if people were superpowered. The basic premise is if superpowered people existed, how good would they really be? It's dark, a little gross, and as real as any superhero show gets. I think it's a fascinating concept because, yeah, when you see superheroes, they get exceptional powers, and they, for the most part, are all like, I need to use this for the betterment of mankind. Bullshit. If a majority of just all of a sudden were blessed with superpowers, they going, I'm going to be robbing the hell out of some banks.
Yeah, self-preservation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Engineer Keith, for that recommendation. He came to Bamboozle on Saturday. He was drinking with us.
Always good to see an Engineer Keith.
We
Yeah.
love you.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's an interesting point, though. I like that premise because, yeah, what percentage, if we all were blessed with a super ability, whatever it might be, how many of us would use it all for good? And we'd be such finely driven character people with great power comes great responsibility. Would we all be saying that, or would 2/3 of us be going, screw this, man, I'm going to jump into Popeyes and get me a new chicken sandwich?
I think most people would use their powers for bad at one point, and I think what would end up happening is they'd have like psychiatrists just to deal with the issue of people having guilt using their superpowers for not good. Almost kind of like drugs and alcohol. You'd have a rehabilitation.
I wonder where we'd be, yeah.
I think you could live in both worlds.
You could.
You could absolutely set yourself up first in your perfect scenario situation, and then turn to a life of helping others.
And do you know right now, because Chris M's being honest in the chat room, he said if I had superpowers, I would totally use them for evil. So, I mean, how many people would be like,
No, I would not. I would not try to hurt anybody.
But here's my point, though. You are an emotional person, and so am I. I'm not throwing any stones here. Eventually, you're going to get mad at something, or you're going to lash out in an emotional way with your superpower, not meaning to be mean, and then you're going to feel bad after, and that's where the issue's going to come.
I am a big fan of revenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll use revenge. You'll think you're doing it right.
I am.
Like someone will cut you off. Like,
Revenge is fair.
I'm going to blow up their house. We're even. Like, no, I don't know if we're even. He just cut you off. You blow up his house.
yeah. Be fascinating to see. Would you want to be in a world where more people had legitimate superpowers?
No, only me.
I don't think I would, because I don't like people having the fucking internet, let alone superpowers. I think too many people have access to the internet that don't need it.
Yeah, I think it would be bad news.
Terrible news.
Yeah. My son and I, we watch that show, The Flash. It's on the CW, and it's kind of about that. There's a lot of people that are getting superpowers, and it's kind of that way. Half the people, or a small portion use them for good, and the rest use them for evil. And so their whole show, they're trying to catch those people.
Well, imagine if me and Chris M get into another chug off. We both have a buzz. Now Chris M, he was already saying he's going to use his powers for fucking evil. Now he's all buzzed. Is he fucking throwing flames at people?
Yeah, because you would take those same kind of problems into your superpower. Like if you drank excessively or you had a drug problem, you would use those substances likely still and then fly. Could you imagine Superman if he were on Flocka?
Yeah. I mean, I get drunk. I order all this shit on eBay I don't want, and then I realize, what have I done? If I'm fucking hammered with superpowers,
Yeah.
I'll turn buildings into toys.
Superman, but on meth. Imagine what that guy would do.
It'd be bad.
It would be
He'd destroy
terrible.
planet Earth.
Okay, nobody can have it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you wouldn't think you would do them for evil, but if you get all hopped up on some shit, you might.
You're right.
You never know where you go. Yeah.
You think it's funny? Oh, look at that.
Flying home drunk.
We'll turn that man into a cow.
That's funny.
That is funny.
I watched the show Power on Stars. It's the what's his name?
50 Cent?
50 Cent, yeah.
Yeah.
The 50
I
Cent
love
show.
the first 2 seasons.
It's good. And I know you, the relationship thing got in your way, and so you bounced out of it. I still...
I even have walls with relationships on my TV shows.
He does. There's a couple things that I was thinking about because they're in the final. I think they're doing the final season. I mean, I don't know where they go from here. And I'm trying to think, okay, these two concepts, good or bad. And even if you don't watch the show, I think you can have a discussion about this. Game of Thrones really changed TV and how you never know. Like when I was a kid growing up, they'd always put these main characters in a position where like, will they die? And be like, going, of course they're not dying. They don't kill anybody off in TV. They're always going to survive miraculously. And then Game of Thrones started killing people off. And now you're like, oh, I don't know. And so I wonder, can you kill off too many people? Because I started thinking about the roster of people that were on this show, Power, and where we are now. I'm like going, ain't like hardly anybody left.
Yeah, and then when you start killing off some of the main characters that you really did love and the dynamic changes, that's why I always get kind of nervous on season 3 of any kind of show. They start to introduce new characters, and sometimes they can fuck it up.
It's kind of like, what is the sweet spot? And maybe it depends upon how strong the new characters are you bring in to take their place. But yeah, what is the sweet spot on how many people you can actually kill on a TV show before it goes from, whoa, this is awesome, I never know what's going to happen, to be like going, wait, who are these people? And I don't like the new ones.
I wanted more death for Thrones. In fact, I thought they laid up with their death in the last season. I was expecting everybody to die.
Everybody, a lot of things.
Bullshit.
Going into it, yeah.
They need to bring that concept to Big Brother. When you get eliminated, you die.
Are you caught up on that?
I think I am, yes.
What do you think of the season? We won't talk long, I promise.
I like it.
Okay, that's enough.
And then the other thing they did, and it was funny because I saw a story on it today. Now, I wonder if anybody else was pitching a bitch. But I don't know what season they're on, maybe 6, something like that, of Power. And they've had the same show open. It's a cool little, like, the theme for it is like, you know, and you remember that.
Yeah, it's a good show.
A dude named Joe was doing the opening. They just changed it. It's like a different version of the song, and I think they went with Tyga sings it. Now it's like a slow R&B version of the same. I'm like, what the hell are they doing?
They did that with the show I Love, Boy Meets World. They had 3 or 4 different theme songs, and one of them clearly was the best one, and then you were so disappointed if you never heard that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about that. I'm like going, and I saw today they made it a story. People were hitting up 50 Cent. Be like, what the hell did you do to the theme? It was great. And then he's kind of like waffling a little bit. He's like, basically, you know, suck it, but then, okay, maybe I'll change it back.
But, you know, think about, like, isn't it a trend? The more R&B sound now, you're hearing a little bit more of that. Maybe he's just trying to be on trend.
I don't know, maybe, but I was just like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And with TV themes,
people love them.
yeah,
They
I'm
do.
like,
And if it's catchy and if people talk about how great it is, don't touch it.
yeah, and here we got rotating themes on the after the shows. You know, people want one or
I personally think there should only be one. I think 2 of them are way weaker than one. But
which one do you like the best?
I like the first one. This is the upbeat one. I think that's the best one out of the 3.
That's the one. Would you have a favorite, Virginia?
I like the one that says, "This is the After Show Podcast, precious."
See, that's my least favorite one.
That's my least favorite too.
I just like it for that voice, though.
I hear
Okay.
you.
I like the reggae one.
Okay.
I think it's got a fun vibe. I'm like, okay, I like the sound of that
Well,
one.
shit, here we are.
I know. Go figure. We can't agree.
Fuck it. I'll just make 3 new ones.
Make an R&B slow one.
I will.
That everybody will hate.
We had one at Wild a long time ago. We used to have like 7 show opening themes at Wild.
Yeah, I think we bounced around a lot on that.
I'd love to go back and hear all those.
I know.
But, you know, people, the same thing for like the Dirt of the Day and things like that. We haven't changed it for that reason I'm talking about with the 50 Cent, where it's like, yeah, it may seem.
Dirt of the Day has changed.
Not
But
at
we
RMF. RMF. In
Yeah.
fact,
Oh, yeah, but before that,
I
yeah.
think Dirt of the Day was even the same in Miami. I think we've had it the entire time. I changed it up when we got to Miami. I don't think
Yeah.
we've ever changed it.
We used to have like 2
It
minute
changed
like.
at
There was,
Wild.
it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a full length.
We had like a
full-length
full
song.
like song to get to the say. So yeah, we did like, okay, hey, the world's getting a little bit quicker now. Maybe we need to shorten it up a bit.
That's how Facebook Fishing was too. Facebook Fishing was about a 35-second theme song,
Yeah.
40-second theme song.
Yeah, so we knocked it down a little bit for those reasons, but that's why we haven't changed it, because I think people like it. I'm the same way. Like, I really hope that Power goes back to the original, and you can't do it. So, All right. Any other comments you want to hit us up with, you can do that, 877-979-WRMF. You can text in during the show. Somebody said, yeah, thanks, Kev, for bringing up the Power song. I hate the new one. Why? Yeah. I think it'd be that way with any show. Imagine that. You get to the final season and you've loved a theme and you just all of a sudden change it. You're like, why? What are we doing?
Other shows have done it.
Why are we doing that now? It's crazy. And you can also send us the emails, mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com. Always let us know the feedback, and we'll have another discussion about how we're doing the podcast, the segments, and let us know the good and the bad, and how to do it. We're trying to find the best system for y'all.
Just talking it out, baby.
That's
Yeah,
it.
at least now you know why, and it's not like confusion.
Right. We're just trying to figure out the best thing for the ultimate person that matters, and that is you. All right. Y'all have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.